The great American thinker Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "To be yourself in a world that's constantly trying to change you is the greatest accomplishment." To be yourself in a world that's constantly trying to change you is the greatest accomplishment. To be yourself. I think this quote is so relevant for the world that we live in today, because what I see is that technology has absolutely revolutionized our life. It is absolutely something that is solving so many of our problems. We are communicating faster than ever before. We are doing things in all fields of human endeavor that we have never done before as a result of technology. But technology is a double-edged sword, and it brings with it also certain things that are not so positive. And when I'm sort of coaching and working with people, what I often see is people that are not very confident in themselves, people that find it hard to express themselves, people that find it hard to be themselves. And the reason they find it hard to be themselves is because they are always comparing themselves to others. And I think part of that is our exposure to technology in the form of social media, and these things can create a lot of imbalance. We are looking externally. We're looking externally at others. And I just want to share with you an idea, a very interesting idea from NLP, which is called the internal frame of reference versus an external frame of reference. Let me explain. So a person that has an external frame of reference, they are people that basically look to everything outside themselves for validation of themselves. So other people's opinions are very, very important to them. They are events outside themselves are very important. Their viewpoint is always looking outside themselves for validation. They compare themselves. They will ask other people's opinions. What do you think? Should I do this? Should I do that? They are people who have an external frame of reference. Now there are other people that have more of an internal frame of reference. The people with an internal frame of reference, they actually draw upon themselves, their own thoughts and their own feelings and everything inside their internal world for self-validation. So it sort of doesn't matter to these sorts of people what other people think, because they're gonna do. They don't need validation from sources outside of themselves. They are self-validating, and both an external frame of reference and an internal frame of reference has strengths and weaknesses. For example, if you have too much of an internal frame of reference, then perhaps you're not very good at taking on feedback or listening to others or actually taking on genuine advice from experts and things that can actually help you, right? However, there are a lot of advantages because it can give you a tremendous amount of confidence. So what I would say is that, especially for leaders, for entrepreneurs, and for anyone really that's expanding into kind of new areas of life, that are actually looking to do something new, bring something new to the market, they have to have a lot of faith in themselves. You've got to have faith in yourself. And I think you've got to shut out the noise. Sometimes in life, you've got to stop comparing yourself for others and asking other people's opinions. You've got to draw into a place of your own wisdom. You've got to be internally referenced. And I think the people that have really achieved great things in life, whether it be in an entrepreneurship endeavor, or an artistic piece of work, or anything, have of course taken on the views of others and looked externally, but ultimately they've had faith in themselves. They have been internally referenced. They've believed in themselves. And I think that's so important. So what I would say that, shut out the noise, right? Shut out all externals and have faith in yourself. Don't look for external sources of validation, right? Don't compare yourself to others. Be you, uniquely who you are. So coming back to that quote, it's going to be one of your greatest accomplishments. As Emerson said, if you can be yourself in a world that's constantly trying to change you into something else, it's going to be something that's going to bring you a lot of success, a lot of happiness, and you're going to just be a more grounded person as a result. I hope that was interesting.